Good morning, good morning, good morning. Greetings wherever you are. Greetings wherever you are. It is a dose of encouragement with Amanda. As we always do it, it is time to soak in the music a little bit. Before we start, you are welcome when you get on here, please share to bring somebody on. When you get on here, please share to bring somebody on as I share to our other platforms. You are most welcome. You are welcome to a dose of encouragement. Greetings wherever you are. It is a pleasure having you on here this morning. It is a pleasure having you all here this morning. Greetings, 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 greetings. Greetings wherever you are. Greetings wherever you are. If you join on here, please share to bring someone on. As we soak in the music a little bit, you are welcome to a dose of encouragement with Amanda. You are so welcome. As I share to other platforms, please share to bring somebody on. Jehovah, you are very welcome. You are very, very welcome. It is a dose of encouragement with me. And we appreciate you all so much for the support that you've been giving us. We say that God bless you so much. Please share to bring somebody on as I do same, and we soak in the music a little bit. Jehovah, the great I am. You are so welcome. You are very, very welcome. 1 second. As I share this. You are welcome to a dose of encouragement. Please share to bring somebody on. Share to all platforms to bring people on. It is another beautiful Saturday morning, and God has been good. If it's not for Him, we wouldn't be here. Share to bring somebody on. Share to be a blessing to someone. My salvation, Jehovah, you are the great I am. You are my strong tower that I run to. My present help in time of need. My life, my salvation. Please share to bring somebody on. We will start in a minute. You are the great I am. Onemia one obiarantu sewo. Onemia one obiarantu sewo. Mabandende mi jane kobia. One. Greetings, greetings wherever you are. You are so welcome. We thank you all for the support. It is another beautiful Saturday morning. It is a day that the Lord has made. Thank you, Kwame Testimony, for joining. Please share to bring people on. It is another beautiful Saturday morning. God has been good. If it weren't for Him, we wouldn't be here. As we always do it, it is a beautiful Saturday morning, and we come your way to interact with you. We come your way to learn from each other. We come on here to be a blessing unto others. Before we start today's program, a reminder: next week is what do you call it? Time with the prophet, as he ushers us into the new month of July. So make a date and do not miss it. So today's program or today's topic is thankfulness the same as gratefulness? Is thankfulness the same as gratefulness? And we have a guest that will join us in deliberating that topic. Often at times we tend to use these words interchangeably, and it is good to be thankful. It is good to be grateful, but are they the same? Do they all mean the same thing? Do they all mean one thing, or there are differences in between? So today, that is what we will be discussing on here. And as we always do it, it is an open platform. So do feel free to put your comment down below, to put your questions down below, and our guest speaker will be able or would try and answer that question. Without further ado, let me try and bring our guest here, Rashida Esiedu. I call him Rev. She doesn't want that, but I call him Rev. She is Pastor Rashida Esiedu, and she is a dynamic woman. She is one in a million. Hi, good morning, Pastor Rashida. I know you said I should call you Pastor Rashida, but I'm used to calling you Rev. So good morning for joining us this morning. Let me reduce this music a little bit. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for accepting our invitation this morning. We know that you have so many things to do, but you made time for us this morning. So I was saying earlier on before you joined that our thankfulness, or is thankfulness the same as being grateful?
That's a good question. I mean, like you said initially, first of all, let me use this opportunity to thank you for the opportunity, and hello to all your viewers, and keep doing the Lord's work. I mean, it's important to use forms to reach out to as many people as we can. On that day, we'll all have to account for what we used our time here on earth. The topic of gratefulness and being thankful, I think is a great question to kind of figure out whether they are the same thing or they are different. But I personally am of the view that gratefulness is different from thankfulness. Even though they may seem the same, they are different. Whilst I was just preparing for today's meeting, I was going over a number of things. So if you give me the chance to go over a few things, and then we can dive into maybe some questions and answers. So I want us to look at a scripture in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18. 1 Thessalonians. And I'm going to read this. It says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you, and give thanks in all circumstances. This is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. And as believers, our main focus is to walk in the will of God. And for most of the times, we ask ourselves, what is our purpose? What is God's will for our lives? I mean, one of the ways to walk in God's will, clearly, as the scripture says, it says that for us to give thanks in all circumstances, this is God's will for us in Christ Jesus, that we will grow in grace, we will grow in knowledge of His word, where we come to a point that no matter the situation we are going through, we are able to give thanks. So that is God's will for His children, that we would mature, we would grow from babies and mature to the extent that even when we find ourselves in a dire situation, are that situation, give thanks. And so that's when gratitude comes in. I believe that the feeling of gratitude, it precedes the act of thanks. So if you
That's
want
right.
to become people who are thankful, people who in any situation are first responsible to God, and by then working in the will of God, and we have to cultivate the having a heart of gratitude. So what I say is that thankfulness and gratefulness are two different things. Gratefulness comes before thanks. Now, I, in short, define gratitude or gratefulness as what causes us to perform the act of thanksgiving.
Mm.
Gratitude is what causes us to perform the act of thanksgiving. And there are many expressions of so some people ask, if I'm grateful for a thing, doesn't mean that my next action or my next response will be to give thanks. For most people, that would be the case, but that may not also be the case for a lot of people. And for some of us, we are prone or we are subject to receive gratitude in the form of thanks. So when we do something for someone and the person doesn't thank us or say thank you, I appreciate it, we feel like the person
Yep.
we feel like the person is not grateful, and so we are not motivated to even go the extra mile or to even do anything for that person again. But that is not the case. I mean, if God was going by that same standard, then a lot of us will not be receiving anything from God.
True.
Because how
True.
many people go to God and say thank you? You know, even the psalmist says that we should enter into his courts with thanksgiving and praise. You know, it's all about having that heart of gratitude, having that sense of gratefulness. If you do not have that, you wouldn't even find yourself in a place where you feel like, no, I have to show appreciation for this thing, or I have to give thanks for this thing. And I mentioned we have different expressions of gratitude. And the number one, of course, is thankfulness, being thankful, saying thank you. Another way some people show gratitude is returning a favor. So you've done something for someone, instead of them saying, oh, thank you, I appreciate it, you realize that they return the favor to you in different ways, maybe in ways that you need it. And that is that person's way of showing their gratitude. That is that person's way of showing how grateful they are. Someone may also express their gratitude or show how grateful they are by application of use. So if it is something that you have given to the person, just by virtue of the fact that the person is wearing it or using it, you know, if you give someone, let's say, a chain or a necklace, and years go by, you don't see the person wearing it, it communicates something to you. Oh, they probably didn't like it.
Wasn't the person appreciated? Yep.
They appreciate it. So one way someone would also express their gratitude or appreciation for a thing is by using something that you have given to them, by making use of whatever has been presented to them. And when I say making use, it may not necessarily be a physical object that has been given to them, but it could even be an advice. You know, it could be an advice that you give to the person and you begin to see the person applying it. So by the application of that advice, it's that person's way of showing gratitude. And so the person may not directly say, oh, I'm thankful that you did this for me, or you gave me this advice, but seeing the person use and applying that which has been given to them is someone's way of expressing how grateful they are for that. And the last thing I touch on when it comes to the expressions of gratitude is paying it forward. Paying it forward.
Okay.
We don't always get the opportunity to see how grateful someone is for something we have either done for them or something we have given to them. So, and an example of that is, let's say you are in town shopping, let's say you're at Walmart, you're buying some groceries, and then you see someone, and the Lord touches your heart to pay for their groceries. You don't know this person from anywhere, you've not met them before, but then in that moment, you feel like, you know what, let me just bless this person by paying for their groceries. So you do that. Now, maybe in that moment, the person didn't say thank you or didn't even get the opportunity to say you were in a hurry to just pay and leave. And for most of the time, especially for those of us who have paid in the drive-through, like when you order your food, get to the window, you pay for your food and then pay for the person
The
behind you,
person behind you.
you end up leaving before the person gets to know that you actually paid for them. So they don't get the opportunity to say thank you to your face. And so for that person, their way of showing gratitude or their way of expressing their gratitude will be to pay it forward. So they would in turn pay for the next person. And for all you know, it will keep going until the person who might not necessarily have the means to pay for their food gets their food paid. So even though it wasn't a direct appreciation of or appreciation towards you or gratitude towards you, it was still done in a
Paying it
particular way.
forward.
So I feel that when we put gratitude in a box of someone saying thank you, then we lose out on a lot of things. We will lose out of seeing uh, how expressive someone is when it comes to gratefulness, and that is how different gratefulness is to being thankful. Because giving thanks is a product of gratefulness, or a product of
Okay.
someone having a grateful heart. So it is out of a grateful heart that someone would want to give thanks. That is one of the major difference between that. And like I just gave um, a number of ways that we can express our gratitude, and that is by giving thanks. So in that case, if we are to walk in thankfulness, when I started, I mentioned that as believers, the will of God is for us to grow and get to a point where we express thankfulness regardless of the situation that we are in. That means that we have to be walking around with a heart of gratitude. We have to cultivate ourselves to the point where our heart is always full of gratefulness, is always full of gratitude. Because it's very easy for us to lose our sense of gratitude. It's very easy for, especially in these times and this age. You wake up and you don't feel like there's a lot to be grateful for. You wake up and you feel like there's nothing really to be grateful for. And it's easy for us to lose that sense of gratitude. And one of the reasons why we lose sense of gratitude is because of this word normal. Normal. You know, because of the repetition of certain things in our lives, and because we have seen certain over and over and over and over again,
Right.
they tend to become normal to us. And so we loses its importance. And when it loses its importance, we lose our sense of gratitude or gratefulness towards that thing. So an example is the fact that when you go to bed, you wake up. You've been doing that since you were a child. So it has become normal to you.
Yep, it's become part and parcel of you.
It doesn't even occur to you that when I wake up in the morning, this is something special. This is something unique. And somebody made this happen. And so I have to be grateful for the fact that I slept and I woke up. The fact that you even have good health. For most of us, it is normal until we fall sick.
Yep.
Before we begin to appreciate the fact that, wow, having a healthy lifestyle, being in good health is actually something that is important, or something that is to be cherished. And so the trivialization of things and making it normal, we trivialize things a lot, and making it normal can easily make us lose our sense of gratitude. Sometimes even the people in our lives, the people that are closest to us, when they go out of their way and do things and help us, lend a helping hand, for us it is normal. It is normal for them to do it. It is normal for your spouse to wake up in the morning and make you breakfast. It is normal for your spouse to go to work, come back, take his salary and pay the bills. And so because it is something that is in repetition, we lose our sense of gratitude in that regard, that we do not even have that sense anymore to say, oh, thank you for making me breakfast. Thank you for paying the bills this month. Thank you for, working hard and doing this. Because in our minds, that is what you are supposed to do.
It is their responsibility.
Right. But what if the person doesn't do it? What if the person chooses not to do it? And mind you, there are many people that are experiencing the opposite of what you are experiencing. There are many people that, even though you have good health, do not have good health. There are many people that spouses are making them breakfast in the morning, paying the bills and all that. And there are many people that don't have that. So just thinking in that regard should let you see that, you know what, this is not normal. It is actually something special, and I should be grateful for it. And when we stay in that kind of mindset, the gratefulness or the gratitude in our heart is sustained. And once gratitude in your heart is sustained, you are able to become thankful, which is God's will for us, that we do not lose our sense of gratitude. We do not lose the gratefulness of our hearts, so that we do not become thankful people. So I put down 3 important things. And then once I'm done with this, we can just go into the questions and answers to make this more interactive. I put 3 important things down about how to maintain a grateful heart. How to maintain it. Because as we all know, if we really want to walk in the will of God, then we have to consciously make an effort to have a grateful heart, or have a heart of gratitude. One of the ways to maintain a grateful heart is to live in the moment. Live in the moment. Live in the moment. Let's go to the book of Philippians chapter 4, the verse number. And it says that, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Present your request to God. One of the ways that we can live in and to maintain a heart of gratitude, when you are living in the moment, your focus is not about what the future holds or what has happened in the, but what today presents to you. And there's a saying that when we worry about the future, or when we worry about the past, it robs us of the opportunity of enjoying the gift of today. We have to wake up every day believing that God has something in store for us today, regardless of what happened yesterday, and regardless of what will happen tomorrow. There is a present in today. There is a gift in today that God has for you. But when you are focused on what happened yesterday or what would happen tomorrow, you cannot even enjoy that which God has for you today. So you end up losing that. And once you lose the gift of today, you tend to lose your heart of gratitude more and more, because you are blinded to what God is doing in your life, because you are fixated on the past, or you are fixated on the future. So you are losing focus on what God is doing. So by the time you would realize that, oh, on this day, God really did this. On this day, God really did that. You have already lost the opportunity to enjoy it. And so if you've lost the opportunity to enjoy it, how will you be thankful for it? How will you even come to this where you are grateful for that? Because in that moment, you couldn't see it. You were so fixated about the past, or fixated about the future. And so if we want to maintain a heart of gratitude, we have to stay in the moment. We have to enjoy the moment. And not only spiritually, even in our day-to-day activities. You go out with friends and you say, oh, let's go and have brunch. And in the moment you are with your friends having brunch, but you're on your phone. You're on social media.
Hey, please.
At all the videos. You're looking at all the videos on TikTok. I mean, you are chatting with someone else. And in the moment, you are losing that gift of the present time to share that physical connection with your friends. And so once you leave the presence of your friends, you do not necessarily appreciate it, or you do not feel a sense of gratitude for that meeting, because honestly, you didn't really gain anything from it, because all that while you were on your phone.
You were busy.
You were busy. So you missed out on whatever was going on. But I can tell you for a fact that if you were in the moment and you were interacting with the people that you had met with, you would gain more from that interaction by the time that gathering is over, and you would have a sense of appreciation for the people. You have a sense of gratefulness that they took time off their busy schedule just to meet up and catch up on whatever it is. So living in the moment is very important. And for our generation, we've lost touch of that, especially because of social media and our phones. I mean, I find myself doing that sometimes, and I try
Oh,
to
I
catch
was just
myself.
about saying that even in our own marriage, we are a culprit, because sometimes we're
Def-
sitting there with our spouses, and then this one is on her phone, this one is on his phone. I'm guilty of that. And as I said on here, we listen, yeah, yeah, widow. So I'm
right,
guilty of
right.
that, and we need
Yeah,
to prep and learn from these things that we're teaching. So
right.
yeah, please go ahead.
So living in the moment is very important, and it helps us maintain a heart of gratitude. So live in the moment with your spouse, live in the moment with your friends, with your family, because you know, God forbid, when they are no longer there, you would miss the opportunities you had to be in the
Mm,
moment with them. You know,
mm, mm,
when um, God forbid you lose that gift that God has for you, let's say today, you would miss that opportunity that you had because you were so fixated on what went wrong the day before or what could go wrong the day after. Another way to maintain a heart of gratitude is to have empathy for those that aren't as fortunate as you. Have
mm,
empathy
mm,
for
mm.
those that aren't as fortunate as you. And how do we do that? By giving back. By giving back. So let's look at Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 to 3. Let me open this. Genesis verse 1 to 3 says, the Lord has said to Abraham, from where you see Abraham, just put your name. So the Lord has said to Mrs. Akrofi, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make
Mhm.
you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever I will curse you. I want us to focus on the verse 2. It says, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. You know, initially when I started, I mentioned that we everything to us is very normal. And
Mhm.
because we see it as normal, we trivialize the situation. And so we are unable to come to a place where we are grateful for those things. And I cited an example about, your spouse cooking for you, paying the house bills, and so on and so forth. And these are things that, even though for some of us it may be normal, there are other people that have not got the opportunity to experience that, or are even in a worse situation. And for those that are in a better situation, or for those that are fortunate to be in a place of advantage, it is for us to give a helping hand to those that do not find themselves in the situation that we find ourselves, if that makes sense. When we find our place in a fortunate position, where we find ourselves in a place of an advantage, it's basically the blessing of God over our lives. It's basically the blessing of God over our marriage. It's basically the blessing of God over our children, over whatever the case may be. And that blessing of God is not given for us to hoard it. When you hoard the blessing of God, then you are not making use of the blessing of God the way it's supposed to be. Like
Mhm.
God said, God was speaking to Abraham and he said, I will bless you and I will make you a blessing. So we are blessed to become blessings to other people. So if you find yourself in a place of advantage, you have to first recognize that this thing that I have, or whatever my situation is, first, it's not normal, because that is not the reality for everybody. And because it's not normal, I am grateful for it. And if I'm grateful for it, how can I help the next person experience what I'm experiencing? How can I help the next person get to a place of advantage? When we begin to think that way, now the blessing will trickle down from you to the next person, onto the next person, and onto the next person. So that way there is a replication of God's blessing onto more and more people. And the more you do that, the more you cultivate a heart of gratitude, because you are always seeing yourself in a position where you know that whatever you are having, or the advantage you are having, is not something that is normal, but something that has been given to you. And the word of God makes us understand that every good and perfect thing comes from above. It comes from God. I mean, you may say that, oh, I work hard, I pray, but at the end of our efforts is the response of God. At the end of every effort that we make is God's response. So you can choose to work hard, and that, mind you, you are not the only person who works hard. There are people who work hard and do not have the advantage that you have. So what is the difference? You can choose to pray for a good husband, but unless God brings you the right person, you might find yourself in very trouble. So the truth of the matter is,
in line of the us being empathy, somebody wrote, what about those we have empathy on and end up taking our jobs? That's somebody's question. Viewers, this is a dose of encouragement with Amanda. If you're on here, please share to bless somebody. We are on with Pastor Rashida Esiedu, and bring all your questions and she will try to answer. So,
wow. So have empathy on someone and they take your job. I'll need a little more context into that question, because in what way did you have empathy for the person, and in what way did the person take your job? So if you can elaborate in the comment section, we will take your question. So yeah, so that's the second way of maintaining a heart of gratitude. And please keep your questions coming, because we'll take those questions and we'll all deliberate on that. The final thing I want to touch on, which is very important, is it kind of goes hand in hand with the first and the second, is not to be entitled. For you to maintain a heart of gratitude is to stay away from entitlement. Sometimes we act entitled, but we do not know we are acting entitled. It's very, very easy for you to act entitled and not know that you're entitled. And for most parts, if you want to know that you feel entitled for something,
really speaking to us
how
today.
you act. It's how you react when someone doesn't do what you expect of them, or how you react when you're expecting something from someone and you do not get it the way you want it. Your reaction will tell you if you are entitled or not.
Wow.
Your reaction of the matter is, listen, you are not entitled to anything or anyone. Even when you expect something from someone and they do it, they are not doing it because they owe you that. They are doing it from a place of help, or from a place of lending a hand. It is up to you to receive that from a place of gratitude, from a place of appreciation. Because the moment you feel that I'm entitled to this, whenever you receive it, you don't feel the need to be grateful for it. You don't feel the need to show appreciation, because this is what the person is supposed to do, and that is the person's responsibility. And I mentioned that in the beginning. If you feel that the responsibility of your husband is to pay for the bills at home, even when he does it, you wouldn't feel any sense of gratitude or any sense of appreciation towards it, because it was so yeah in our year. So then that is good. But when you realize that he doesn't necessarily have to do it, you are not entitled to it. He doesn't necessarily, he's doing it because he wants to express maybe his love, his support to you as a husband. And so when you begin to appreciate the fact that, you know what, this person is doing this to show that he cares for me, to show that he loves me, you now move from a place of entitlement to appreciate what the person is doing. But if you feel like, no, you have to do this for me, you expect something from someone, and if they don't do it, you get so disappointed, then it means that you are a very entitled person. Entitled people are not grateful people. Entitled people struggle to show appreciation. Entitled people struggle to give thanks. And it's the same with our relationship with God. You know, if you feel that it is God's duty or responsibility to make sure that when you sleep, you wake up, it is his responsibility to give you the air that you breathe. And so, right, right. So as long as God is doing his duty by letting the sun come out, by making it rain for our crops to grow, by making me go to bed and waking up, by doing all these things, then I'm good, because it's his responsibility. But if you realize that, listen, God does not owe you anything. He can choose to make you stop breathing today, and that will be it for you. But why does
So
he
the
do the things that
person,
he do?
I'm sorry. So the person
Okay.
wrote, the person wrote, the person does not have a job and homeless. You keep
Okay.
supporting the person. Now you get the person a job, the same job at your workplace, even move him to your home. In the end, the company does not want to work with you. They gave your position to him. Landlord is selling his house, you move. Now, new tenant is the same person you picked up from the street. How do you sustain yourself in this? How do you still
Question.
empathize with that person?
The person does not have a
Because
job and
he's
homeless. He
done
keeps up.
all these.
He keeps up.
He's done
I'm
all
trying to
these,
read
and
the
then
question.
so no. The question was, how do you become? How do you still be empath? Let me go back to the
Okay,
person
I
saying
think
how.
I read. Yeah, I read the story, and his
It
question was,
says, what about those we have empathy on and takes our
mm-hmm.
jobs? And then you told the person to give a little more explanation on that, and this is
Mm-hmm.
what he has. Yep.
So this is my response to that question, is that, you see, maintaining a heart of gratefulness and showing empathy for someone is very important. But then the reason why you're asking this question, I'm sorry to say this, but the reason why you're asking this question is because of your expectations from this person. When we show empathy towards people in order to cultivate a heart of gratefulness, it is not our duty to expect anything back from them. Because when you begin to expect something from whoever you are showing this empathy to, you'll be greatly disappointed. And if you are not careful, you would lose your motivation to even show empathy to the next person. Our expectation of being grateful, or our expectation of cultivating a grateful heart, is not to receive from the people that we are practicing that on, but to receive from God, who has given us that assignment, who has given us that duty to be people of a grateful heart, or people that are thankful, and by being thankful to cultivate a grateful heart. So our reward is not necessarily from the people that we practice this on. Our reward is from God. So we also have to understand that the Bible says all things work together for our good, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you may be doing everything in your power, or be working in the way that God wants you to work. And in this case, being empathetic towards someone who is homeless. God used you, and this is how you have to see it. God used you to be a blessing to that person. You losing your job has nothing to do with the fact that God used you to bless the person. It may have happened in the same time, but it doesn't mean that that was the reward for your
But the
empathy towards the
person,
person.
but the person lost their job, and that the job was
Right.
given to the homeless person. So it's like, I
It
see
doesn't.
where this person is feeling the way they. I see
No,
where this
I get
person is
it.
feeling the way they are feeling.
I get that. Your first reaction or first response will be, oh, what if I didn't help this person? I would still be keeping my job. But I challenge you to ask yourself this rather: what does God have for me next? For all you
So
know,
it's
that
more
job
of
you
the
were holding
person
was for this.
looking at the. It's more of the person looking at the brighter side of the situation and not dwelling
Exactly,
on what
exactly,
happened. Okay,
exactly.
okay.
Finding the silver lining, because at the end of the day, this world that we are in will face tribulations and trials. It is for us to always find that silver lining. If you are too focused on everything that is going wrong, you would always miss what God is doing. So for me, I'm an optimist. Whenever something is happening around me, I like to look at the bigger picture. So in this case, what I would say to the person asking the question is, don't focus so much on what you could have gained directly from doing that work. See it as God using you to establish that person. If it wasn't for you, that person would still be homeless. If it wasn't for you, that person would not have a job. Now, the person has, in quotes, your job. So your question now is, what next does God has for me? What is the next thing that God has for me? And trust that the good, the bad, and the ugly is preparing you towards that which God has for you. If you've lost your job, then there's something better on the way. And I always tell people that while you are waiting, be preparing, because what you expect God to do for you, always prepare 10 times above that, because God will not do what you expect. He does more. So in this moment, assuming you are probably still not working, or you don't have a job. So in this time, or in this season where you are not working and you don't have a job, use this time to prepare yourself. And as you are preparing for the next thing God brings, don't prepare for what you're expecting, prepare for more. That's it.
Come on. All right. Somebody also wrote, Natalie wrote, what do you do with those friends that makes you feel guilty for not doing what they ask you to do? This topic is getting interesting. Viewers, please share to bring others on.
Sometimes there was a time in my life where when I used to be a people pleaser. So I used to go out of my way to do things for people, so so that they'll just be happy, and will live in peace, and kind of rob myself of things that I would have done. But the truth of the matter is, you cannot necessarily maintain friendships by doing that, because if you are losing yourself to make someone else feel good about it, it's not the right thing to do. And my question to that, before I give an answer, is, if the person is making you feel guilty, no one can really make you feel a particular way. You feel that way. the situation. Of course, the person is upset that you didn't do what they are expecting of you. But why are you feeling guilty that they are upset that you didn't do that? You see, if you are feeling guilty, it's two things. It's either you had the means to do what they were asking you to do, but you didn't want to do it. Or you did not have the means to do it, and so you didn't do it. And these two scenarios would cause or can cause you to feel two different things. If I have the means,
but then they might be having a reason why they have the means to do it and they did not do it. They might be having a legit reason,
right?
Because
Right.
in that case, is it wrong for them to have to feel that way because this person is making them feel the way they feel it?
So what I was driving at is, if you have a genuine reason, okay, if you have a genuine reason why you could not meet the person's expectation, for me, I don't see why you should feel guilty about it. It's not a you problem, it is a day problem. Do you get it? It is not a you problem, it's a day problem. Because at the end of the day, it is what you can do, what you can afford to do, what you are able to do, and what God has given you the ability to do. So if whatever they are asking of you does not fall into the categories of what you can do, what you are able to do in that time or in that season, there's nothing to feel guilty about, honestly. There's nothing to feel. I mean, they might try to guilt trip you, but you know your reasons why you could not meet that expectation. And that should be what should matter to you most. Because, like I said, you do not want to lose yourself in trying to please another person. If you get the opportunity to explain to the person, fine, fair enough. If the person doesn't give you the opportunity to explain, or you explain and they still do not accept your explanation, I don't think you should beat yourself about it. It's not something you should feel guilty about or allow someone to make you feel guilty about, especially if you have a legitimate reason for not being able to meet their expectation. But if you do not have a legitimate reason, my advice to you is to, we all make mistakes, apologize, move on, and be a better friend.
She said, so she said, it's like you always do something for them, but they don't return the favor. But the one time you say no, they are making you feel guilty about it. That's it right there. You always pleasing, as you were saying earlier on, you always tend to be pleasing others, putting their needs first, putting their what about you want to make them happy, but then the one time that you say no, it's very true. It tends to have that with us human beings, that the first time that you say no to somebody, they label you as the bad person. So viewers, if you are joining us now, we are on with Pastor Rashida. She said I shouldn't call her Reverend, but I'll call her Reverend Rashida. Pastor, I have a question for you though. Can we say in regards to Thanksgiving, can we say that Thanksgiving is a platform for happiness?
Thanksgiving is a platform of happiness.
Thanksgiving is a platform for happiness, or a platform to your happiness? It might not be to human beings. It might be to you, as you were saying earlier on, you giving thanks to God. Can we genuinely say that Thanksgiving can be a platform to happiness?
I'm trying to see the correlation between Thanksgiving and being happy, because I feel like there are two different things. Even though it can bring happiness, I don't feel like it is necessarily the foundation for happiness, in the sense that I mentioned that Thanksgiving extends from a grateful heart. When it comes to happiness, it extends from a joyful heart. So the foundation of being happy will first come from a place of joy in your heart, having joy in your heart. not necessarily giving thanks. So, and a joyful person or someone who is joyful would exude happiness, and probably that may bring them into a position or a place where they would want to give thanks. But I wouldn't say it is directly a platform of thanksgiving making you happy. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, how do we apply these two topics,
Mm-hmm,
right, in order to better
mm-hmm,
our lives? Most of the times, we human beings, as Natalie was saying, we human beings tend to label our
mm-hmm,
friends,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
label individual for the one time that they say no, for the one time that we say that they can't have it. And as I said earlier on with what you said, we all guilty with the fact that you go out, as you said, you go out with friends and we are basically on our phones throughout the entire
Mm-hmm.
time that we are with these people, throughout the entire time that we sit in there. We pretty much given time to focus on the people that we chose to go out with. We don't do that, but we end up being on our phone because of the way things are going these days and all that. As I said, I'm guilty with doing that, because sometimes I'll be in the house with my
Right,
husband
right.
and then I'm on my phone and he's on his phone. So how do we apply these? You know, people will say that I'm doing it
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not getting any results. But how do we actually apply it? We might be applying it, but applying it the wrong way. Is there a particular way in applying these to better our lives when
Okay,
it
so this,
comes to the Christian
yeah, I
life?
mean, the, Bi- the Bible is our foundation and our guide for a lot of these things. So it's always good to go back to the Word of God. And when it comes to people name calling you, guilt tripping you, making you feel a particular way because you decided to say no or you decided to put yourself first, it's all boils down to what you choose to believe. Okay. And for a lot of us who have been people pleasers before, we tend to give power to the words of the people around us. We tend to give importance to the opinions of the people around us, which in a sense is not bad, but when you exalt that over God's opinion, over God's opinion about you, and what God says about you, that is when you allow that to affect your being and who you are. So, what helped me, or what allowed me to come out of that place where I esteem the opinions of people, or give power to the opinions of people, where it kind of brought me to a place where I felt I wasn't myself. What really helped me was coming back to the Word of God, understanding what God's opinion is about you. Because at the end of the day, what others think matters, especially for to have a social life. Obviously, you want your friends and your family to think highly of you, but that is not the ultimate. That is not what matters. So, if you are taking decisions, instead of rather pleasing people, seek to please God. Seek to
Okay.
please God in your decision making. Uh, um, Even in your relationships, even with friends, when someone is expecting something of you, if your response is coming from a place where you are choosing to please God, even when it affects your friend negatively, even when it offends them negatively, you know that ultimately you are pleasing God, and which is more
Mm.
important, God. So the Bible says in Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, that finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think of these things. So regardless of what
Mm.
your so the people that you did not meet their expectations think of you, You choose to think of the good report. And what is the good report? What God thinks of you in that particular situation, what God says of you in that particular situation. Did you make the right decision in God's view? Yes, you did. Did it affect your friend? Yes, it did. But which one is important? So think about whatever is good, whatever is pure, whatever is honest, and speak that over yourself, because you are a priest to yourself. So whatever you say to yourself is what you are going to live by. So if your friend is calling you a bad friend, my question to you is, do you consider yourself as a good friend? If your answer is yes, then that is what I'm.
All right, some come testimony roll, please. I would like to know the benefit when you become grateful. Come testimony. I hope that's because it's not really showing the whole thing. So he would like to know the benefit of becoming grateful, being grateful.
Give me a second. So the benefits of having a grateful heart. I mean, the benefits are endless. The benefits are endless. In view of the biblical aspects, having a grateful heart. If you become someone who has a heart of gratitude, or someone who is grateful, it allows you to see the good in every situation. It opens your eyes to the blessings in your life. You know, there's a song that says, count your blessings one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. I mean, why does it say it will surprise you? Because for most part of, or mostly, we do not really count our blessings. And so we do not see that we are blessed. But if you wake up every morning and take a pen and a paper and you say, oh, today I feel like writing down the blessing for my life, or how God has blessed me, it will amaze you the things you will write. It will amaze you the things you write. So having a heart of gratitude, or cultivating a heart of gratitude, it actually puts you in the best position ever to receive from God. It puts you in the best, because once you have a heart of gratitude, you realize that anytime you enter into the God's presence, you are entering into His presence with gratitude in your heart and thanksgiving on your lips, and that is an avenue to open up more blessings upon you. Because when you are thankful for the little, when you are grateful for the little, then God blesses you with more. But how will you be thankful for the little if your eyes have not even been open to the fact that you have that little? So being thankful, cultivating a heart of gratefulness, opens your eyes to the small that you have. That way you are able to be thankful for it, and God now blesses you with more. And in our day-to-day lives, depending on our relationships with our spouses, our parents, and all those things, you know, every parent loves a grateful child. Every parent loves a grateful. When you do something for your child, you know, yesterday I was watching a video, and this lady has she's in college and she's on scholarships, getting a lot of money, so she's basically living her dream. And so she decides to take her mom out on a date, like plan a whole staycation for the mom, bought a card for the mom and wrote a very lovely thanks giving message in the note, and said, you know what, you are my number one cheerleader. You did this for me, you did that for me. It's because of you I'm living my dream. You are the best. I appreciate you. And you know, just that small thing that she did brought the woman like virtually to tears. Like she was crying, because she has raised a child that has a grateful heart. And not only is that heart of gratitude extending to other people, she's also benefiting from that, you know. And that in a sense makes the mom proud that, you know what, I thank God for this child in my life. But there are other children that are giving their parents headaches. But you know what? Once you meet someone who has a heart of gratitude, or someone who has a grateful heart, you can't have enough of them. because even the things
So
you
in
do for them,
natural sense, we can
right?
say, that it improves relationships.
It improves relationships. It improves. You can't have enough of them, because you know that even the smallest thing that you do for this person, they'll appreciate it. They'll be grateful for it, and that in turn even motivates you to even do more. So cultivating a heart of gratitude improves relationships, opens avenue for you to receive more blessings, and also improves your relationship with God as well, because you begin to see the blessings of God on your life, and it goes from glory to glory to glory. But if you are not grateful and you are always complaining, how would God bless you? Because you are not even seeing the
Yeah,
little
I
that
was
you have.
just waiting for you to finish, and then I can say that I was gonna say that it shifts your focus
Right.
from the negatives to the
Exactly.
positive, because you always happy, you always thankful, you always grateful for
Right.
something that somebody has
Mhm.
done for you, or for something that you've received, and
Right.
it takes you from that negative area to the be always being in the positive spirit. So
Right.
wow, this is deep,
Yeah.
and
It is.
I can't have enough. I think that there is more that we can exhaust on this topic. But viewers, if you did not come on here early, please make a day with us, because this needs to be continued. We need to, Reverend Rashida, we need to, Pastor Rashida, as you say, I should call you. We need to
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
this stuff, because there is a lot. We didn't even get to, I didn't get to ask you the questions that I had, because it had, what you had so much knowledge, so much gems in it, that we sit down and we don't really think
Mm.
with all this. But now, because we do certain things and we think that it's normal, as you say, I keep going back to the
Right.
example of we always being on our phones and all that, like, because I'm a corporate,
Right. 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 May,
I'm at
may God
fault on that. 9 out of 10
help.
times you're on your phone watching something, doing something. This is really, really a great topic. Somebody wrote, "Do you think being sad means you are ungrateful?" Wow, the questions keep coming. He says, "Do you think being sad means you are ungrateful?"
I think this is what we'll do. Keep sending your questions. Amanda will put them together, and then we'll find a day to
Yes,
answer your
we would have to come back. We would
very
have to come
question.
back to
And
do Q
our
and A's on this particular topic.
yes,
So
yes.
I'm doing this with you here, Reverend Rashida. Um, first week in July, you are coming back, because we need to exhaust
Just,
all these
just
questions. We
wow.
can't leave our audience, what do you call it, hanging. We need to answer their questions. And as she said, viewers, please keep bringing your questions down. We would compile them, and Reverend Rashida is coming back. Pastor Rashida will be coming back, so we can exhaust this, because 1 hour or 45 minutes is not enough for this topic. We appreciate you, Pastor Rashida, so much for taking the time to come. Unfortunately,
It's been
viewers, our time is up, but as we said, we will definitely bring you back. Once again, this is a dose of encouragement with Amanda, and I'm your host, Amanda Akufiaya. Let's continue this topic in the comment section on Facebook. Let's keep sharing this out there for everybody, for people to hear it. People need to hear it, because we are used to the norm. We are used to the things that we call normal, which they are not. So let's keep the conversation going, and let's keep the questions coming, and we will be sure to bring her back. But I don't think, just to buff up with Legend's question, I don't think you being sad is you being ungrateful. You might be
right.
sad because of something. You might be sad because of uh, 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 for a reason, something that you're going through, something that happened to you. So that does
Mm,
not mean that you are ungrateful,
mm.
or anything. But as I said, keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming, and we have to bring you back. But thank you, thank you, thank you so much for
Thank
honoring
you.
our invitation. And we
Thank
hope
you.
that this will not be your first and last. But as I said, we've booked you already for first week in July. So please markers on our calendar. And viewers, we thank you all so much. As I always say, as you keep us along, may God keep you along. May God answer you in time of need. May God
Amen.
help you when you don't need it. And until we come
Amen.
your way again next week, before I forget, next week is Time with the Prophet. As he ushers us into the new month, as we always do, end of the month. Next week, the 25th, make a date with us, mark it on your calendar, and we will come your way. As I said, if you have any comment, if you have anything that you think that you need somebody to talk to, my team and I are here to help you through that. And if you haven't followed us on our website yet, please go and also put your comment there, www.adoseofencouragement.com, or on Facebook here, A Dose of Encouragement with Amanda. And my team, wherever you might be, thank you all so much for the job that you are doing. My husband, wherever you are, thank you for the support that you've been given to me. And to you, the audience, thank you so, so much. As I said the last time, if you're on here and you think you can help push this vision to its peak, let us know. Put it in the reach out to us in our on our website or in our inbox, and we would gladly work with you and work with you to make sure that we push people to their God-given assignment. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Kwame Testimony. Thank you, Natalie. I cannot thank you, Legend. I cannot mention everybody's name. Thank you, Kinsun P. Everybody, as you keep us along, please keep sharing this video to bless others. Until I come your way next week, I sign out. As I said, make a date with us next week for a time with the prophet, and your life will never be the same. I love you all, and thank you so much. Have a blissful weekend. Have a blessed week ahead, and may God answer you in time of need. Bye.